At 03:14 hours, deep in the fog-covered waters south of the Aleutian Islands, the U.S. Navy destroyer USS Mustin, DDG-89, cut silently across the waves on a classified anti-submarine patrol. The mission was routine, the ocean was calm, and nothing on radar indicated immediate threats. But at 03:22 hours, that calm shattered. A Russian Akula-class nuclear attack submarine, silent, hidden, and operating far outside its usual patrol zones, unleashed a torpedo. Not a warning shot, not a training round, a live, fully armed 53 to 65 Kinch wake-homing torpedo built for one purpose, to destroy a U.S. warship, and for a moment, the Pacific teetered on the edge of catastrophe. The first detection, inside the USS Mustin's Combat Information Center, a sonar operator suddenly stiffened. Contact, high speed, bearing 217. Possible torpedo, repeat, possible torpedo. The room fell silent for half a second, then chaos erupted. The tactical action officer shouted, "Mark the bearing, classify the threat." Another operator yelled, "Torpedo in the water, speed increasing, 45 knots, now 50. The Kinch torpedo was notorious. It didn't chase ships using sound. It hunted by following the turbulent wake behind a vessel, nearly impossible to shake. The officer slammed the alarm. "General quarters, torpedo inbound." Red lights flashed. Sailors scrambled to stations. The destroyer's engines powered to maximum. The Mustin's captain entered the CIC with ice-cold composure. "What do we have?" "Torpedo in the water, sir. Russian signature." The captain's jaw tightened. "Full evasive. Deploy countermeasures. Turn us into the wake." The destroyer heeled sharply as the crew raced to outrun death. The torpedo tracks its prey. 03:24 hours. Under the surface, the Russian torpedo executed its deadly programming. It locked onto the Mustin's wake, tracking the ship like a bloodhound. Every second, it closed the distance. 70 seconds to impact, 60 seconds, 45. Inside the CIC, the tension was suffocating. The weapons officer called out, "Torpedo closing fast. Recommend immediate NIXIE deployment." NIXIE, a powerful decoy system that mimics a ship's acoustic signature. "Deploy NIXIE now," the captain ordered. A cable unfurled behind the destroyer, releasing the decoy. Seconds later, the torpedo veered off course. Cheers erupted, but the celebration didn't last. The sonar operator's face paled. Second contact. Second torpedo in the water. The Russians hadn't fired once. They had fired twice. The Akula reveals its hand. Far beneath the surface, the Russian Akula-class submarine glided through the dark water, hidden by thermoclines. The crew inside watched their screens closely. The Russian captain murmured, "First torpedo responded to decoy. Second torpedo will not." His executive officer nodded. "Our orders are unchanged." "Yes," the captain replied coldly. "Test their response. Only test." But testing a live torpedo against a Navy destroyer was not a test. It was an act of war. The Mustin fights for its life. 03:26 hours. The second torpedo accelerated, ignoring the first decoy and slicing through the water like a shark. "Impact in 35 seconds, sonar shouted. The captain made the hardest decision of the night. "Prepare anti-torpedo maneuver, hard starboard, 30 degrees. The destroyer tilted violently as crew grabbed on to anything they could. "Torpedo adjusting, it's following us," the captain barked. "Launch Moss." The Mustin deployed mobile submarine simulator, a floating decoy that imitates an entire submarine. The torpedo, designed to chase large hydrodynamic signatures, suddenly had multiple tracks to pursue. Did it take the bait? The sonar operator listened. His eyes widened. "Yes, yes!" Torpedo diverted. Sighs filled the CIC, but the relief lasted only 5 seconds, because something new appeared on sonar. Something worse. The Russian submarine closes in. 03:28 hours. A massive low-frequency signature rose from the deep. The sonar operator froze and whispered, "Oh my God, the submarine is surfacing." The CIC went silent. Destroyers never want a submarine, especially an Akula, rising within weapons range. The contact climbed from 500 feet to 400 to 300. The echo became clearer. The Mustin's captain's voice was firm. "Everyone stand by. We're about to see who fired those torpedoes." Then, a black jagged shape broke the surface behind the destroyer. The Akula-class submarine emerged like a monster from the deep, water streaming off its hull. But what happened next shocked the entire crew. The submarine did not prepare missiles. It did not man deck guns. It did not send a surrender flag. Instead, the Russian captain climbed the sail tower, held a radio handset, and transmitted in accented English. "United States Navy destroyer, your decoys performed well tonight. This was only a demonstration." Silence filled the CIC. A demonstration with live torpedoes. The Mustin Mustin's captain responded, "You fired 2 torpedoes at a U.S. vessel. Explain yourself." The Russian captain answered calmly, "You were never the target. The ocean was the message." Before the Mustin could react, the Akula submarine slipped back beneath the surface, and the moment it did, all hell broke loose. The sonar operator screamed, "Multiple torpedoes in the water! 5, no 6 torpedoes, all headed for us." The ocean erupted with violent signatures. This was no demonstration anymore. This was an attack, a real one. 03:29 hours, the West Pacific. The moment the Russian Akula slipped beneath the surface, the sonar screens of the USS Mustin exploded with noise. Multiple contacts, multiple wakes, torpedo signatures everywhere. The sonar supervisor shouted, "6 torpedoes, all active. Spread pattern, full saturation attack." The tactical action officer yelled back, "That's impossible. No submarine fires 6 at once." But the Akula had, and now the Mustin faced something almost no ship survives: a torpedo swarm. The Mustin's captain issued the fastest order of the night. Battle stations, all countermeasures, full deploy. Lights went red, bulkheads slammed shut, engines roared. The U.S. destroyer prepared for underwater war. The torpedo swarm approaches. 03:30 hours. Sonar tracked the approaching storm. 2 torpedoes homing from the port side, 2 from starboard, 2 directly from the stern, a perfect kill triangle. The ship couldn't outrun them, couldn't outmaneuver them, couldn't dodge all 6. The captain growled, "They're trying to overwhelm the defenses. They want to force a hit." The weapons officer shouted, "Deploying NIXIE decoy on both sides." Twin decoy systems were fired into the ocean, dragging acoustic signatures in opposite directions. 2 torpedoes instantly peeled off, but 4 remained. The sonar operator yelled, "Remaining weapons closing fast, 40 seconds. The Mustin fights back. The captain barked, "Launch the HEMTTI package." The HEMTTI, high-energy multi-phase torpedo interference, was a rarely used system combining noise, bubbles, and chemical agents to distort water density around the ship. Explosive canisters fired from the destroyer's sides and stern. The water around the ship boiled with turbulence. Inside the CIC, everyone held their breath. Sonar suddenly reported, "Torpedoes losing track. 2 have broken lock." Cheers erupted, but then the operator froze. 2 torpedoes still tracking. 30 seconds. The Akula makes its move. While the torpedoes raced toward the Mustin, the Akula-class submarine made a bold and insane maneuver. The Russian captain ordered, "Bring us to 150 feet, activate tail sonar, track their decoys." His XO stared at him. "Sir, we will expose our position." The captain replied, "We are already exposed. We finish what we started." The Akula rose to strike depth. Its massive hull cut through layers of water like a knife. For the first time since the Cold War, a Russian nuclear submarine was actively hunting a U.S. destroyer in real combat conditions. The Mustin takes extreme measures. 03:31 hours. Inside the CIC of the Mustin, the skipper faced a no-win situation. 2 torpedoes, seconds away. If one hit, the ship was gone. He made the call, "All hands, brace for impact, hard port turn, 35 degrees, flood the opposite ballast, roll the ship." The helm officer hesitated. "That maneuver could capsize us." The captain shouted back, "It'll also throw off the torpedo's guidance." "Do it." The Mustin tipped violently, listing harder than any crew member had ever experienced. Sailors slammed against steel walls, equipment toppled, alarms screamed, but the sudden unnatural roll distorted the ship's wake. Sonar yelled, "1 torpedo diverted. We've fooled it," but the second was still locked on. Impact in 5, 4, 3. The unexpected savior. Before the countdown reached 2, a deafening rumble echoed through the deep, a massive underwater explosion. The operator screamed, "Torpedo destroyed, but not by us." The skipper blinked. What? A new contact appeared on sonar. Large, fast, silent. The operator gasped, "New submarine signature. American, Virginia-class." The CIC erupted. A U.S. Virginia-class fast attack submarine had quietly arrived, undetected by both the Russians and the Americans up top, and it had shot down the last inbound torpedo. Falcon 12, the officer on comms, shouted, "We're receiving a message from the sub. They say, target neutralized. Engage counterstrike." The skipper stared at the screen. Counterstrike meant only one thing: attack the Russian submarine. The Akula realizes its mistake. 03:33 hours. Deep below, the Russian crew felt the shockwave of the destroyed torpedo. The captain stiffened. That wasn't a malfunction. That was an American American torpedo intercept. His sonar chief confirmed, multiple new signatures. "We are surrounded." The captain whispered, "Impossible. We were hunting them." But it was true. The Akula thought it was the predator, but the hunter had become the prey. The U.S. submarine sends a final message. The Virginia-class submarine transmitted a chilling final warning. Akula-class vessel, you have fired 6 torpedoes at a U.S. ship. Surface immediately or prepare to be destroyed. Inside the Akula, panic spread. The XO shouted, "Sir, if they fire a Mk-48 at us, we cannot outrun it." The Russian captain breathed heavily. His crew watched him. He knew the truth. A Mk-48 torpedo never misses and never leaves survivors. Finally, after a long frozen silence, he issued the order he never thought he'd give. Blow ballast, surface the boat. The Akula began to rise, slowly, reluctantly, defeated. 0337 hours. The ocean broke open. The massive Russian submarine surfaced. Lights on, hatches closed, crew standing on deck in full view. Moments later, the USS Mustin and the Virginia-class sub both surfaced nearby. 3 war machines, circle of steel, silent, staring at each other. Then a single message came over the radio. "Russian vessel, your actions tonight will be reported directly to Washington and Moscow. This incident is over." The Russian captain did not respond. He simply stood on the tower, staring at the American destroyer he had almost sent to the bottom. His attack had failed. His escape had failed. His torpedoes had been intercepted, and the world would soon know. The U.S. Navy just defeated a Russian torpedo swarm and forced an Akula to surface.